stars will stride into the dawn. Never back down till the battle is won. Face each foe with hearts brave and true, unafraid of the unknown, because I'll face it all with you.
Hello, I'm the reviewer. Review you. This is my partner, Mr. It. Today we're going to be taking a look at CR's video on the Simpsons live animation.
As you may have heard, with the help of a new Adobe program, the Simpsons actually went live for 3 whole minutes.
Yeah, I see no reason why it couldn't have been longer than that.
But with the help of computers, they were able to program a series of poses into a console that would use voice recognition to sync the limp animation to Dan Castellaneta's voice.
You know, I have never been able to properly pronounce that man's last name. Even when I'm right, I still feel like I'm wrong.
You can give me any tips or tricks for making it look like I'm hard at work, but really I'm relaxing or taking a nap.
Always wear glasses with eyes glued onto them.
Well, you can tell they really played softball with the humor.
Is that the problem? I thought it was because Dan was very clearly saying things a lot slower than he normally would.
I can't really blame them for that. I mean, this is live TV, and they probably screened the hell out of all the callers.
I'm surprised they would have had time to do that with only 3 minutes.
Aye, puns.
This isn't new exactly. Anime Studio has had this for years, although it only chooses a mouth based on volume, and it can't choose the unique mouth shapes needed to say words like unique.
Or it does, just when it wants to, apparently.
As Homer talks, the guy is basically pressing the character movements.
Great, doing this and, you know...
Okay, I get that that was a Dragon's Lair reference, I just don't think the joke landed the way it was supposed to.
The idea is at least impressive, until you consider that we've seen this technique before. Well, maybe not exactly, but this is what Jim Henson and company would use to create their animatronic puppets.
Actually, they also did animation with that. Just 3D instead of 2D.
If you've ever seen Muppet Vision at the Disney parks, the character Waldo was actually puppeteered using the same technology CR is showing off here.
All this is happening in real time, which again is kind of impressive if we didn't have 3D motion capture.
Actually, speaking of the Disney parks, they also use live versions of this exact thing for the likes of Turtle Talk with Crush and Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor.
And yeah, when it first came out, motion capture looked like garbage. That's because the people who are using it used it to supplement all the actual work that goes into animation. Like the infamous Donkey Kong Country cartoon.
Why would you make a mocap cartoon based around platforming monkeys?
Now it's used as a base for a lot of impressive visuals.
Unless you're Robert Zemeckis, in which case it's not just a base, but most of the film.
And when it is used just to animate, it's often used appropriately.
Was that irony? Because that clip was a lot of things, but appropriate wasn't one of them.
A cartoon based off a platformer where the characters dance around the same 6 locations sucks. But an educational kids show where the characters dance around the same location works just fine.
Huh. Another Jim Henson Company product. It's almost as if those guys actually know what they're doing when it comes to puppets.
But guess what? Even this is not new. Rotoscoping has been used since the 1920s.
You know, I never really considered it because of the separate mediums, but yeah, they're both using live footage to supplement animation.
And again, technology is getting better and better and cheaper. You can use a free program called Blender to create a model and run a script where you can mocap yourself from a web camera.
I mean, yeah, it's more affordable, but it's not exactly easy.
Imagine someone at a computer with all these animation and facial cues hotkeyed and a little joystick to control where the character looks.
Hell, you don't even need that. Just have the camera track the eyes.
Also, I think this would probably be great for Let's Players. Imagine a little character in the corner that will talk when you talk.
Wait, there's something familiar about that.
Hell, we've already seen in-character playthroughs from Team 4-Star. You probably won't be able to do that long without being sued, but the idea is there.
Actually, I think Little Karibo is still playing games as Yami Yugi.
So I imagine the first person to create the first animated Let's Play persona will be very popular.
Oh my god, it just hit me! CR predicted VTubing!
Hell, technically he was one of the first examples of this, using this character.
Capitalize on this, man!
I can also see this being very useful for D&D.
That, on the other hand, I have not really seen. Though, from what I understand, Crafty is going to be implementing it soon for Craft D&D.
That could serve as a visual indicator of how the character is doing. It could turn green when they're poisoned, or, go crazy when they're berserk. Those are the only 2 stats I know off the top of my head.
And Berserk isn't really a status, more of an ability. At least in 5e.
And it may take years to get any of the ideas I've suggested off the ground. Because if the layman tried to simultaneously play a game, stream it, and then have a little cartoon running, it would probably set their computer on fire.
Yeah, still does. Because it's not a live stream without technical difficulties.
As for actual networks, yeah, I could see like Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon doing live events with their characters.
Or Rooster Teeth, apparently.
If I could look at you and go, poop.
Ruby, that's inappropriate.
Poop right now. That'd be great.
Either way, I guarantee within the next 5 years, a SpongeBob hologram will present a Kid's Choice Award.
Oddly enough, no. As far as I'm aware, the closest they've ever gotten to putting the actual character on stage was having the cast of the musical sing Best Day Ever.
But at least Fox beat everyone to the punch. It wasn't all that great,
Hey, you gotta walk before you can run.
but at least they can say,
Simpsons did it. Simpsons did it.
Actually, the Disney examples I mentioned predate this, but they're all one and the same now.
This is a nifty little time capsule from before the time when technology like this was put into the hands of the common person, and a fun look at how said technology works. And I still give credit to CR for seeing how the streaming landscape would change when it did.
I'm a reviewer. You get a review.
Thanks for coming, you guys.
Come on, like we're gonna miss this! You're about to be named Grand Councilwoman!
No, I might be named Grand Councilwoman. This meeting is to announce the Council's final decision.
If I may have everyone's attention, please. After several months of deliberation, the Council has decided that Sir Alistair Grimsworth shall be our new Grand Councilman.
Thank you, Sir Roland, and thank you, esteemed members of this wonderful council. I recall joining this council back in its infancy. While Medora's now understandable insistence on keeping her past a secret was concerning to me, I had to admit that her mission statement of maintaining the magical balance of good and evil in the multiverse was a noble one. And despite the revelation that said mission statement was merely a front of her own plans, I still believe it is one worth pursuing. Thank you.
Sorry you didn't get the position.
Nah, I didn't really care about it that much anyway. Besides, if I ever do take command of this place, I'd rather have a few more decades of experience under my belt.
Mistis, might I have a word with you?
Of course, Grand Councilman.
Are you aware of your master's history with this council?
As I recall, he wasn't interested in joining.
True. Told us to shove our self-righteousness up our butts, if I remember correctly. However, he did still strike a deal with us. In exchange for giving him a dimensional space for his research, he would in turn share that research with us.
Is there a point to this? Because we've got some stuff we gotta get back to.
Reviewer, don't be rude.
Oh? Of what nature, if I may ask?
Well, if you must know, we're getting ready to celebrate the 10th anniversary of our YouTube channel.
I'm going to assume that's important. Whatever that is. So, I'll cut to the chase. I would very much appreciate it if you would lend Vikar's journals to the Council. Not his personal diaries, mind you, just his research notes.
To be honest, I don't feel very comfortable letting those books out of my possession. However, my friend Telia has spent the last year or so copying them to her computer. I can have her send the copies to Master Visual, and he can relay them to you.
This is an acceptable compromise. I thank you for your cooperation.
Don't worry. I plan to check with Roland to make sure this deal with Master Vicar is legit. Meanwhile, don't we have certain anniversary plans to get back to?
Now you're talking.